Greetings, travel enthusiasts, and welcome to another episode of Travel Preneur. I'm your host, Mega McSwain. Today, we are joined with Keith Snode, the CEO of Kaleidoscope Adventures. Welcome to the show, Keith.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Keith, Kaleidoscope Adventures is known for flawlessly planning and executing every detail of student trips. How does your team ensure that each trip not only meets, but exceeds the expectations of educators and students?
So we spend a lot of time talking about just not being order takers, really helping them understand their role in the trip planning process and to really listen to the educators' needs and try to recommend and work to recommend a trip that really is going to meet those needs, meet their budget, and then work with them throughout the process to adjust as things change. So a lot of our training and a lot of our conversation in our office is spent around that idea, is just to make sure that we're really honing in and paying attention to those teachers' needs, but not only the teachers' needs. As travel has evolved, especially student travel, the passengers, the students' needs within that reflects from the teacher. So it's important for us to really address not only the teacher or the group leader's needs, but those individual travelers, which sometimes can be two totally opposite
Exactly.
things.
I was going to say that sounds like two totally different things, but that's impressive.
Sometimes they align, and a lot of times that deals, you learn through your conversations with group leaders about their communication with the group and what they talk to the group about when they share things about the trip with the group, and you help them make sure that we're plating up things that help them be successful. So our role really in planning a good student trip is to make the educator look good. We want to have a really amazing trip, but that educator has an initial vision. They have a curriculum they have to meet. They have something that they have to accomplish. And so we need to take that vision and make it a reality. But our role is really the back seat. We want to make that educator shine.
Safety is a top priority for Kaleidoscope Adventures. Can you elaborate on the comprehensive safety plan implemented for each trip, like the selection process for trusted partners and just the various measures taken to ensure the well-being and security of the students and the educators?
It's a great question, and it absolutely has evolved greatly over the past 5 years, especially with the pandemic. It changed quite a bit. Before the pandemic, we had an emergency response plan. We had plans in place we were always doing site visits and attending the trade shows and things like that to vet suppliers and make sure that they were great options for students and that they fit all of the safety and security needs we needed to meet. But then during the pandemic, we had to shift. We had to really say, okay, and evaluate that process and say, now we have some additional criteria, which actually has helped us in the long run. We were the first US-based tour operator to get our Safe Travel stamp from the World Travel and Tourism Council. So we went through the process of meeting all their requirements and making sure we did that during the pandemic. And then we encouraged our suppliers to participate in that as well. So we have a shared data system we use called Group Travel Odyssey that's shared with a lot of other tour operators. It shares a lot of information about the different suppliers that we work with. You can see which ones have student-friendly menus and student-friendly accommodations and things like that. We attend trade shows like the Student Youth Travel Association, American Bus Association, where we get to meet these folks face-to-face and really talk about their product and how they can serve our clients' needs. And then we're out on the road a lot. We have tour directors and we have eyes on the ground pretty much everywhere we send groups. And we take that feedback and make decisions based on that feedback. So we're really positioned well to serve our clients' needs and make sure we do it in a very safe way, provide them the safest, best options for every aspect of their trip.
Kaleidoscope Adventures prioritizes working with highly trained and experienced staff, like you mentioned. How does the company ensure that its staff members are well equipped to handle the different challenges and requirements of student travel, stuff that just comes up? I mean, I feel like there could be any array of situations that might arise.
There are. We've had some unique ones, especially post-COVID, but we're constantly looking at our client feedback. That's one, and adjusting based on the client feedback. And we get client feedback in two different ways. And you talked about earlier when you asked about the connection with the individual traveler. We have a review system through our payment portal where individual travelers can actually review the trip. And then obviously we have an evaluation and review system for the actual group leader, the teacher, the client that is in charge of the trip. So both of those give us a very unique perspective. Right. It's great when those two stories align, and it's really troubling when they don't. Because, if the teacher has a great trip and 5 students come back to us and tell us they had a horrible trip, then we certainly want to understand what caused that to be the case. that is our biggest vehicle, I'd say. Then our tour directors, those are the people that are on the road with the groups. They give us a lot of feedback as well. And we take all of that into account. And that's where we make our adjustments in our training, in our process, and all of those things to make sure that we stay on top of what we do. I will say that the training, though, for us starts when a new employee starts with us. Our whole first day of training is all about the mission and vision for the company, our core values, our mission and our vision, and to really talk about why that's important to us and why that's important in our daily work. And it grounds us. And we talk about that frequently throughout the year. I probably talk about it more than people want me to, because I'm kind of the cheerleader for that. But I think it's important for us to understand our history and understand why we do what we do and the vision that we have for that.
This episode is brought to you by travelpayments.com. Travel businesses have unique needs when it comes to credit card processing. From large average ticket sizes and tolerance for higher chargeback ratios to simple integrations with the most popular shopping cart systems, the travel industry specialists at travelpayments.com have you covered. Unfortunately, many of the most popular credit card processors initially accept travel businesses, but without warning, freeze their merchant accounts and the thousands of dollars in them because these service providers don't understand or support the unique needs of travel industry business. Don't get stuck with one of the big guys who will freeze you out without a moment's notice. Instead, work with the travel industry specialists who will support your business every step of the way. Visit travelpayments.com to get a free quote today.
Providing a convenient and user-friendly online payment and registration platform is a key aspect of your services. How does the platform streamline the trip planning process for educators, alleviating the stress of like paperwork, financial management, and enabling them to focus more on providing the experience for the students?
Well, you kind of just said it all right there. I mean, by them allowing us to register and take care of the payments for all the individuals, it really takes something off of their plate, a big piece of work that they normally would have to do. It also enables us to ensure some things happen that are really crucial to the individual travelers. Things like making sure that they're offered travel insurance. When a group leader does that on their own and they do the registration on their own, they can recommend it, but we can ensure it. It's part of their payment path, so they have to do that. Making sure that we gather information about medical needs that, for example, prime example would be dietary restrictions, so that we're informing our suppliers of the issues and the questions and the different things that we need to address when we're planning a menu for a group. All of those things are things that we can take off of the group leader's plate by then using our technology to help them and facilitate a better and smoother trip planning process.
What is your vision for Kaleidoscope Adventures in the coming years? I mean, I'm sure it changed a lot from 2020 to now, and you probably had to pivot then, but what are your plans for the future? Are you guys at a place where you've landed and now you're kind of coasting, or are the changes still evident?
I don't think it's possible to be in business and land and coast anymore. It's absolutely impossible to sit in that space. I don't know if it was possible 20 years ago, but I guess for me, that's just not a place that I sit. So my vision, I have to be honest, I think that the student travel industry has a lot of, travel industry as a whole, but the student travel industry very specifically has a lot of ground to cover to catch up with things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, and catch up with sustainable tourism and how we better treat and better handle an idea of regenerative tourism instead of just doing the tried and true every year. I don't think the student travel industry has even scratched the surface of having conversations and making changes that really affect a change in our world at all. So if I have a vision for Kaleidoscope, it's to really continue and ground ourselves in the level of service that we've always provided, continue to provide that, but start to weave in some of these ideas that need to be part of our narrative for the future.
And I'm sure technology has played a part in the changes that you've had to endure. I mean, it's like we can't ignore it anymore, right? We just all have to embrace technology the way it is. I mean, it's just slapping us in the face. So
it is.
How does Kaleidoscope Adventures leverage technology and digital solutions to enhance its operational efficiency?
So since COVID, we've actually instituted an entire back-end system to manage all of our processes. That has been a big change point and a big pain point some days in transitioning to that from what we used to do. But it really has helped us with visibility, staying on top of things, making sure we're handling customer needs in a timely manner and following up when they need us to be there. So back-end system, our group travel honesty system has been really effective at helping us with that. Online payments, hugely helpful for us because we get visibility on things like numbers of people that are actually signing up for a trip way sooner than we used to. Those two pieces of technology are important, but I think as the industry itself uses technology, we will incorporate more of it as we move on. We'll just continue to embrace it. But right now, I think those are the biggest things that have helped us and help our clients the most.
You have such a wealth of experience, clearly, and such an esteemed figure in the student travel industry. What advice would you offer to educators and travel professionals looking to create transformative travel experiences for students, drawing from your own experiences?
Well, first, thank you for your kind words. I really am passionate about student travel. I'm passionate about travel as a whole. I feel like it really changes our perspective on life, no matter who you are, and changes your conversation. I feel like it's very good for all of us to be part of that experience. So I would say that my biggest piece of advice for educators is don't be afraid to try something you've never done. See so many educators doing the tried and true, and I don't want to discount the destinations like New York and Orlando and all those things.
Right.
But there are so many amazing places, even just in our country, that offer incredible opportunities for students that educators typically are so reluctant to try. They need to understand that it's a big leap, but take it. It is absolutely worth your time. And a lot of the other destinations that don't see as much traffic have just as much, if not more, to offer your students than you ever would know. I feel like my biggest piece of advice is take that leap. Find a travel professional, whether it's us or anybody else in the industry. There are lots of great companies out there. Find somebody you trust and then ask them, what do you think I should do? Talk about what you want to accomplish and say, what do you think I should do? And let them share some thoughts with you and be ready to take a leap and try it.
That's excellent advice, to be open-minded. And there's a lot to explore, like you said, in our country alone. And of course, everywhere else.
Around the world, yes.
Right, yeah.
You know,
wonderful.
Some of the best experiences I've had are when I've trusted someone else to just, what do you think I should do? Or when I go to a restaurant and say, what do you think I should have tonight? And I just take it and let it go. And some of the best experiences I've had in my life are when I've let go and let someone else kind of steer
guide
me.
you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What great advice. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this and your journey with us, Keith. Let our listeners know where they can learn more about Kaleidoscope Adventures and where they can connect with you.
They can learn more about Kaleidoscope Adventures on the web, which is the best place, or we're on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram. But on the web, it's my KA trip, KA standing for Kaleidoscope Adventures, that we don't have to spell it, mykatrip.com. And it'll take you right to our website, lots of helpful information. I encourage you to look at our blog. We've got some amazing blog articles on there, and so about some really relevant topics to student and to just travel. I'm listed on there, so you can find me. My contact information is there, but it's easy. It's keith@mykatrip.com, so it's not difficult. You could find me, and that's KEITH@mykatrip.com. So I'd love to hear from you, and if I can be of assistance in any way or help your next student tour, we'd love to work with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Keith. And to our listeners, please follow and subscribe for future episodes and leave us reviews. That helps us out a lot. Keith, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.